More liberal lies on guns. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. Ever since the terrorist attack last weekend on Pulse nightclub in Orlando, there have been pushes by those in the media and inside government, political circles here in Canada to change our gun laws, to toughen them up, and to push back against gun owners who were rightfully calling for the AR-15 to be made a hunting rifle once again. Ralph Goodale, the public safety minister, keeps saying it shouldn't be up to politicians to make decisions on what guns are available or not available to Canadians. This is fundamentally wrong on so many levels. It should always be up to our elected officials to have the final say on important matters. That's why we elect them. Otherwise, just have bureaucrats run everything and do away with Parliament. But Goodale is also lying on several fronts. First off, in the original Firearms Act proposals, it was clear that the intent was to have Cabinet decide what would and wouldn't be on the list. And secondly, it still is the fact that politicians are able to put guns on the list. They're just, well, they weren't able to take them off, at least not until the Conservatives brought in the Common Sense Firearms Act, something the Liberals now say they will repeal. Let me read to you from some Cabinet documents that go back to 1994, and believe it or not, Ralph Goodale was sitting in Cabinet under Chretien at that time. Alan Rock was bringing forward the Firearms Act, what would become C-68. And it clearly says in these Cabinet documents that the goal was to have politicians deciding which guns to put on the list and which ones not to. It reads, create a new definition of restricted weapon, allowing any weapon to be designated as a restricted weapon by order in council. Order in council is a fancy way of saying that Cabinet makes the decision. That's what an order in council is. So it's not even put up to Parliament with a vote. It's not put to a Commons committee. It's Cabinet meeting behind closed doors and making these decisions. Funny thing, though, that's still the case in the Firearms Act. Right here from Section 117, the Governor and Council may make regulations regulating the storage, handling, transportation, shipping, acquisition, possession, transfer, exportation, importation, use and disposal or disposition of firearms, prohibited weapons, restricted weapons, prohibited devices, prohibited ammunition, explosive substances. It's always been the case that Cabinet could put a firearm on the restricted list, but they just couldn't take it off. The Conservatives decided after watching the RCMP make too many mistakes that they needed some oversight. So at a time when we're being told that our security agencies need more oversight, not a bad idea. They need oversight of politicians. Ralph Goodale and the Liberals are telling us when it comes to regulating guns, the police force don't need any political oversight. We just need to trust them. This is the wrong way to go, and it sends the wrong message. There's always a push to say, take politics out of the matter. Take politics out. We don't need partisan political considerations. But yes, we do. Because we don't elect RCMP bureaucrats. We don't elect Justice Department bureaucrats that always want to come up with new regulations. We elect politicians. They go to Ottawa as our duly elected representatives to look out for our interests. Some will want more regulation, some will want less, but it is up to Parliament, meeting as one to make these sorts of decisions, not people meeting behind closed doors, not nameless, faceless bureaucrats that we never have a say to remove from office if they goof up one too many times. Ralph Goodale's lying to you when he says that Liberals have always believed this. These Cabinet documents clearly show that he sat around the table with others and thought having an order in council make regulations on firearms was a great idea. You can go through the legislation now and find plenty of examples of that still happening. Unfortunately, you're not going to hear this in the mainstream media. The media party, they have one agenda when it comes to guns, and that's more control. They refuse to look at the fact that Canadian gun laws are already drastically different, that our gun laws, well, they bear no resemblance to what happened in Florida. They bear no resemblance to how most Americans interact with guns. And what the petition brought forward by Bob Zimmer was calling for wasn't about making it easier to get an AR-15. You still have to be licensed, still have to have full background checks and all of that. It was simply about making it easier to use for what it was made for in the first place, hunting, something Canadians did without incident for decades. That's the truth, not the lies that you're going to hear everywhere else.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.